Hello there. Good evening to you. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here with a check of the First Alert forecast. We are streaming to you live on ANF Plus across many platforms: Roku, Amazon Fire, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, the Atlanta News First app, First Alert weather app, YouTube as well. And of course, if you've watched a stream like this before, you know YouTube is the place to go. And on YouTube, Atlanta News First is the account to like and follow. If you do have any weather questions, comments, concerns, I'm going to be monitoring that feed. I just want to kind of slowly settle into the forecast time now. It's 8:02. We started our stream just a moment ago. And want to remind you that if you do have any weather questions, comments, concerns, YouTube is the place to ask. But we are streaming across many platforms right now, kind of tying you over between our early newscast at 6 p.m., which we did have today on WANF Atlanta News First, and our later news, 10 p.m. We'll be back on with your First Alert forecast at Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate, and then, of course, for the late news, Atlanta News First on WANF. Don't want to dive too quickly into the forecast because we do have so much going on. Wesley Millsap up in Ackworth, thank you for watching. Also, Alex in East Point. Now that we have some folks watching, we're going to go ahead and dive into what is next, and we'll start with what is happening outside right now. Again, it is pretty chilly at the moment with temperatures in the 30s across the board. In fact, some folks, though, already back in the 20s. LaGrange, 34. It is 38. That's at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, away from the airport. Typically a warmer spot. It is even colder than that, and Blairsville already back in the upper 20s. 30 Blue Ridge, 35 Eatonton, 29 right now in Dallas. It is cold up in Paulding County, right at freezing. Carrollton and Carroll County, also Floyd County, Rome, reporting a temperature of 32 degrees. So it is a cold night, and I know we're talking about it getting even colder. That certainly is still the case. This is not the coldest air in the 7-day forecast by any stretch of the imagination. Nonetheless, it is still cold, and you will want your winter layers out there this evening for any later evening plans or even just taking the dog out for a walk. Make sure you're bundled up. Make sure they're warm too, and temperatures will continue to fall overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Hour-by-hour forecast. Temperatures, even in the city of Atlanta, probably back in the mid-30s here over the next couple of hours. By 10 to 11 p.m., temperatures falling even a little more quickly than initially we were thinking. That the setup is just absolutely ideal for what we call radiational cooling. Basically, any warmth we had today, and we did get into the upper 40s, near 50 in Atlanta, any of that will very quickly escape back up into space because we have a clear sky, we have a light wind, dry air, and a chilly air mass settled in a couple days ago behind Friday's first alert weather day with rain and winds that were moving through the area. So again, hour by hour, we wake up to temperatures in the lower 30s in the city of Atlanta, though just about everyone else, probably even some of our near northeast neighborhoods, you know, Brookhaven and Dunwoody, Alpharetta, Roswell, portions of Buckhead, you will wake up to temperatures below freezing tomorrow morning, even if technically the city of Atlanta escapes an official freeze. Though I will be adjusting these numbers here with some new evening data coming in right after this stream is complete. Going to go back to the Weather Center and probably change some numbers a little bit, and that change would be to trend them colder. Not by much, but by a little bit out the door tomorrow morning. 33 Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, official climate site for the city of Atlanta. 27 Carrollton, upper 20s LaGrange. We're going lower 20s in Blairsville. Could be some upper teens to right around 20-degree temperatures there, sprinkled in the highest of elevations, generally at or above 1,800 feet, 2,000 feet. Coldest spots tomorrow morning. Canton 27, 26 Rome, and I think it will be frosty tomorrow morning. So if you do have to get up and at them early, maybe you work Sunday mornings, you will probably have to do a little bit of defrosting or scraping tomorrow morning if you did park outside. Again, it is going to be a cold start to our Sunday. However, it will warm up a little bit. We do have just as much sunshine, nearly as much, I should say, in the forecast tomorrow compared to today. So these upper 20s, lower 30s around Metro Atlanta. Again, it will warm up tomorrow afternoon, about like this afternoon. Between morning out the door, 6:30, 7:30 in the morning, of course, a lot of folks sleeping a little later than that on Sunday, and afternoon high temperatures, it will warm up through that mid-morning stretch. But for the early cup of coffee, 33 frosty, you need a large cup and you need to get it hot, unless you absolutely have a true love for the cold weather, because it is going to be a very chilly, cold, freezing, any descriptor you want there, start to our Sunday. Let's go hour by hour. We're going to start the clock here, rolling it on back for you. Let's start at 7 a.m. Sunday. Again, this is just forecast radar. with temperatures overlaid. We have taken the cloud layer off here because I do want to drive home the point that we could be talking about wintry mix, and I want you to focus solely on that. Again, this is forecast radar, what radar is forecast to do and to look like based off of one run of one computer model. So again, it's not set in stone, but certainly changes are on the way, and this is one of forecast models that take on how this will evolve, and I think it's doing a decent job with the general setup. So I wouldn't say high confidence in the specifics of the forecast yet, but we'd say medium confidence. We are very confident. In fact, we're certain that it's going to get very, very cold. The uncertainty really comes in as to how precipitation stuff falling from the clouds, whether that be sleet, snow, flurries, graupel, little soft little ice pellets, or even just liquid rain sprinkles. How that evolves, that is the most uncertain part of the forecast Monday into Tuesday morning. So let's roll with it, show you the data. Out the door tomorrow morning, cold. We discussed that, but by noon, again, we're still dry and temperatures recovering fairly nicely. Although chilly, of course, chilliest up in the mountains, 42 in Clayton, 40 in Blue Ridge. So a cold Fannin County start to the afternoon. Lawrenceville in the mid to upper 40s, probably peaking in the upper 40s. We're going to try to get to 50 in Atlanta tomorrow for an official high temperature. That's around where we were today, maybe a degree or two warmer. 52 LaGrange, notice that 57 down at the bottom of the screen, that's Macon. So warmer air trying to build northward, though it's going to really take some time to get any sort of noticeable warm-up in the picture here further to the north I-20 corridor. Excuse me, I-20 corridor. There we go. And a point to northward. So I don't think we're going to have a big jump in temperature tomorrow, but with as much sunshine as is forecast, I do think that it will be a decent day and a nice recovery from our cold start. Richard on YouTube saying, Mother Nature at its best. So Richard is a fan of the cold air. Much more on the way. I notice here by tomorrow evening, we're chilly. This time tomorrow evening, still 30s and 40s, so you will want the jackets, the coats once again. But we're still dry. We remain dry up until maybe the wee hours of Monday morning, 11 p.m. midnight, and we'll be here talking about how radar is comparing to what this same forecast model is saying radar will look like. You know, this is what it's saying at midnight Monday morning radar will look like. It's saying there's some light snow. Flurries in the mountains, steadier light snow, Tennessee, North Alabama, maybe a wintry mix with some sleet just north of Birmingham. And about this time tomorrow evening, we'll be able to look at radar, excuse me, and see how this forecast model is actually doing compared to what is actually happening. But this is its latest iteration of how the evening tomorrow will evolve. Getting into Monday morning, 3, 4, 5 a.m., again, pretty quiet. Could be a couple of sprinkles, a few flurries around the metro. It will be cloudier Sunday night into Monday morning, so a much cloudier start to our Monday with temperatures generally in Atlanta above freezing. Mountain communities, early Monday morning, upper 20s, lower 30s, but some folks, you know, lower than 1,800 feet will also, even up in the mountains, higher elevations, be warmer than 32 degrees. So we're not worried about any Monday morning issues or anything like that. But watch what happens through the morning hours Monday. Snow is forecast to increase. This will be very light. This will not all reach the ground, but flurries, light snow. Up in Fannin County and Rome, up in Floyd County, 31 in Rome, 8 a.m. Monday morning. Could be some flurries flying around. 32 Ellijay, 30 Calhoun. Again, where you see the blues and the whites, that is light snow, forecast by this forecast model. A computer that takes all of the data, all the observations, temperature, relative humidity, pressure, of course, is very important in it, and it takes all of those observations from across North America and in many places, in many situations across the world, uses math equations to solve the forecast. Coding is a wonderful thing, spits out a pretty picture of what radar may look like tomorrow and on into Monday. So 10 a.m. Monday morning, there could be some light wintry mix trying to nose down into the North Metro, but notice how this is primarily along and north of I-85. So higher elevations, generally north of I-20, generally north of the city of Atlanta, and generally north of the immediate metro. And moisture actually backs northward. Again, this is a persistent band, but it actually shifts back to the north. And this is not the only forecast model indicating this Monday afternoon. So a pretty drastic difference in weather between 38 cloudy, light snow in Blue Ridge Monday afternoon and 55 in Griffin Monday afternoon. with possibly some peaks of sunshine at least mixing back into the forecast. Now, as we get into Monday evening, Monday night, cold front approaches. Notice how it's building back to the south gradually. Again, still looking like a lot of the moisture is going to fall as rain in the metro Monday evening, Monday night, Tuesday morning, and there's not much of it. There's not much moisture to work with here. That's one of the problems. If there was more moisture to work with, we probably would have more accumulation of wintry weather. So again, taking you back, and we're going further out in data time here, so we're going to drop our temperatures and just look at radar. This is forecast radar for Monday evening, 10 p.m., and we still have some flurries up in the mountains. We have light sprinkly rains for the city of Atlanta. Now, Monday night into more so Tuesday morning, as the temperature starts to drop, we'll have to see if there's enough moisture hanging around these sprinkles to turn into maybe very patchy freezing drizzle or sleet pellets or some flurries down in the metro. But the trend is for any accumulating snow, any real noticeable wintry weather to be, number one, fairly light, and number two, higher elevations of far north and northeast and northwest, in this case, Georgia as well. Richard saying Vandergrift, PA, wind chill, -16. Crazy. And that cold air obviously influencing big-time lake effect snow up in Buffalo. Rescheduling of the big football game. And a man named Kevin is talking about the homeless and preparing for the cold. Hopefully you do get that shuttle. Hopefully, we do have warming centers open. City of Atlanta, many surrounding agencies and areas and municipalities, folks responsible for these sort of decisions have open warming shelters already. And surely, if not already open, they will be opening up as we get into next week with temperatures well below many municipalities' threshold for opening these warming centers. In fact, we can go ahead and get to that 7-day forecast. First alert 7-day forecast, not just one, but two blasts of Arctic air. In fact, here's an interesting graphic, and this is the average wind chill each morning. We know it was cold this morning. It'll be cold tomorrow morning, upper 20s, lower 30s, feeling maybe 1, 2, 3 degrees colder than what the thermometer reads Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday mornings. And then look at Wednesday morning, wind chill of 3. That's at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. That's an average for the metro. So some will wake up to wind chills below 0, colder than 0 Wednesday morning. Not quite as frigid, but still uncomfortably cold for sure Thursday morning. A bit back towards normal on our Friday, and then wind chills once again back closer to 0, the single digits Saturday morning, as a secondary push of very, very cold air returns to the first alert forecast. So a lot of weather to talk about in this first alert 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, the peak day of the next 7. Monday, I know it's going to be about 50, but more clouds, and parts of the area will be colder, and parts of the area will also be dealing with some wintry weather. That is Tuesday. Monday into Tuesday, again, mainly north. And notice the little wintry icon there between Monday and Tuesday, because that chance will be primarily late Monday overnight to the wee hours of Tuesday morning, and primarily north of the immediate metro. Temperatures don't budge much Tuesday. We may try to get to 40. I think we'll fail to do so. And a lot of times, again, these forecast models have trouble with the exact handling of the cold air, how cold it gets, the exact arrival, when exactly temperatures really start plummeting. So if anything, it may be underestimating some of the chill here across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. We'll be watching those trends very closely here, the entire First Alert weather team. Temperatures plummet regardless at the very latest Tuesday evening. We wake up to single digits in teens Wednesday morning. That is when wind chills will be below 0 into the single digits. High temperature trying to get above freezing Wednesday afternoon, but full sunshine. So that's nice, right? At least we're not having to worry about wintry weather, clouds, making it feel even colder Wednesday. There will be sunshine Wednesday. It'll just be a bitterly cold winter day here across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Another hard freeze Thursday morning, back up to 43 Thursday afternoon, 44 Friday afternoon. Again, I went a little colder than what some of the data is indicating. I think it's trying to score out some of that Arctic air a little too quickly, just a little bit too quickly, Thursday and Friday. Some models have us in the 50s Friday or close to 50 Friday. I just don't think we're going to get quite there. But we'll watch trends, and then a system passes through. There will be a chance of a few showers. Could see some wintry weather mix in with that. And then very quickly, very bitter air. Once again, bitterly cold stuff filtering back into North Georgia and Metro Atlanta as we get into next Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. Hard freezes. So multiple opportunities to have some pipe issues here, especially if you live in a raised home or home that may have been built at a time with different codes and hasn't been upgraded. Basically, we want to make sure that your home is insulated. We want to make sure those pipes are wrapped and covered, because pipes could easily burst. We don't have to look too far back to find an instance with that occurring here across North Georgia. Last December, there was a ton of that. Now, temperature is not quite as cold this go around, but still cold enough for some pipes to burst. No one wants that. There probably will be some pipe issues and some bursting issues there as temperatures kind of fall and then try to thaw again Wednesday into Thursday. So make sure that you are protecting your home, getting it ready for the impending cold. And again, the latest tips on how to protect your home, your property during times of extreme cold, you can find those at atlantanewsfirst.com and in the Atlanta News First app. Just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking with you. We're now about 17 minutes into this. Also want to remind you that we are back on, and I mentioned this at the beginning, Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate, starting at 10 p.m. And then the full forecast coming up tonight on the late news, WANF, Atlanta News First. We will have more data coming in by then. I don't anticipate any huge changes to the forecast nonetheless. We will be watching data and trends very closely, not just myself, but the entire First Alert Weather team, over the next several days as bitterly cold air filters in and that risk of some wintry weather creeps into the First Alert forecast. Again, thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday evening. Bundle up, find that winter coat. We're tracking cold weather a little bit later on Peachtree TV.